So a number of weeks ago, I made that video telling you that if you got your hands on that trans person's manifesto, it won't solve the problem. It won't stop anything. It'll just stroke the ego of a bunch of people who already hate a certain political side and their ideologies and their affiliations. Won't solve anything. Just how that side, if they were to get their hands on a manifesto that was all against black people and the person who wrote it was a white mass shooter, they would sit there and use that to stroke their egos, and the problem will not be solved whatsoever. You can lie to yourself saying that it would create better understanding about how one side is all evil. The problem won't get solved. Your ego will just be stroked. A couple months ago, there was a mass shooting that I didn't even know about. Maybe because the world's so gloom and doom, there were too many of them at the same time. And only recently, we're getting our hands on the manifesto of sick fuck who decided to shoot a bunch of people all willy-nilly. And guess what? His reason is probably the dumbest fucking reason on the planet.
Louisville Metro Police closed their investigation into the mass shooting at Old National Bank in April and released the details we have been waiting to see. Hello, everybody. It's our top story. I'm Doug Proffitt. We have the motive stated by the gunman himself, but first, new tonight, the families are out with a statement about Connor Sturgeon's actions that day. They're saying on behalf of survivors and families, attorneys say in part, the release of the police report on the Old National Bank mass shooting is an important step for those personally impacted by the tragedy as well as for the community. The statement goes on to say, our hearts are with our clients this week as they process this painful report, while many of them have an empty seat at their Thanksgiving table or they reflect on the deep trauma they have experienced this year. End quote. Now we want to get to the evidence for you in that file and the motive given by the shooter himself. WHS 11 Night Team's Taylor Woods is here. And Taylor, police discovered that he had a plan, but that it came together in just a matter of days, not weeks.
Doug, investigators say Connor Sturgeon, he actually planned and executed the shooting within 1 week. This 64-page report includes writings that show how he planned the shooting and why. One family friend of a victim tells me there needs to be a mental health assessment before people buy rifles.
Body camera video shows Louisville Metro Police officers Nicholas Wilt and Corey Galloway arriving to Old National Bank April 10th. Tuesday afternoon, LMPD released a 64-page report detailing personal notes and letters that 25-year-old bank employee Connor Sturgeon wrote to family and friends days before the shooting. The evidence file includes this selfie taken by Sturgeon 5 days before the shooting, portraying the Joker face that's popular on social media. Sturgeon described how easy it was for him to buy an AR-15, 4 magazines, and 120 rounds of ammunition for $700. That receipt from River City Firearms is seen here.
I mean, not only his note, it's proven every day through the mass shootings which happen across the country that how easy it is to buy an assault weapon.
Police say he fired a total of 40 rounds that day. Sturgeon called himself a psycho, telling his parents to fight lawmakers on lax gun laws, asking for them to stop the sale of weapons of mass destruction.
Please do something.
Dr. Muhammad Babar has been pleading for an end to gun violence. He's also a friend of the Elliott family. Bank Vice President Tommy Elliott killed in the shooting. He feels there should be a mental health assessment before people buy guns.
How long the waiting period should be, there should be some background checks, mental health checkup.
Detectives retrieved Connor Sturgeon's Instagram stories just hours before the shooting on April 10th. Sturgeon even wrote, quote, "These people did not deserve to die, but because I was depressed and able to buy a gun, they're gone." Still, Bobber says there needs to be immediate action to end gun violence, and a mental health checkup could show if someone is mentally healthy for a weapon.
To see that if there is somebody who is on the edge, to break down and do something which will not only harm everybody else around them, but it will also harm them and hurt their loved ones too.
Sturgeon's family took him to emergency therapy days before the shooting. He was on various mental health medications. Sturgeon wrote in large caps, "I am sorry, I can't take it anymore." In the end, Sturgeon said he had two goals: kill himself and stop gun violence, and send a message to politicians.
And a group of survivors and victims' families are planning to sue the gun manufacturer, Radical Firearms of Texas. They say the goal is to prevent weapons like the one used in this shooting from being in the hands of people mentally unable to handle them. In a statement tonight, attorneys say they're reviewing this report as they move forward with preparing to file that lawsuit.
You are not solving anything by taking people's lives in the hopes that they finally decide to change the laws. Oh, they want to favor only white people? You'll only move when white people move? Well, fine. I'll take it into my own hands and I'm going to shoot a bunch of people. That's going to change it all. No, it won't. It'll just have people talking, have people playing the blame game, have people guessing the skin color, rinse, repeat, Shrek is love, Shrek is life. The cycle continues until there's an actual conversation that is not finger pointing and saying it's everybody else's fault. It's this person's fault. It's that person's fault. It's your political side's fault. No, it's your political side's fault. It's your political ideology. No, it's your political ideology. Until we just stop that and actually boil it down to what could potentially solve the issue. Because like I've said numerous times, it really won't do anything, but you can't have that conversation with a bunch of finger pointing, and you should, because you all claim to care about kids, you claim to care about your societies, your neighborhoods, and making sure that they don't have all these instances of crime and violence happening. You would want to try to solve this issue, but because you motherfuckers want your ego stroked because of manifestos, you get it, and we don't get nowhere after the fact. And we just wait for the next school shooting, we wait for the next mass shooting at a mall, we wait to play the guessing game, we wait to get our answer, and then nothing. And I know I'm saying this and I'm talking about all these different ideas that you could have and talk about and want to discuss, and you'll look at me and say, well, come up with a fucking idea then, Leon. I've told you, I don't really have an idea, because it will all boil down to trusting humanity, and that is something I can't do, but maybe the rest of you can, because as we've seen throughout the centuries that this planet has existed, trusting humans is not really a good thing, because some humans, not all of them, of different ideologies and variations and colors, commit crime, and expecting them to do nothing because you put up a no gun zone sign is the dumbest shit you could possibly think of. But just to let y'all know, nothing will be solved as long as y'all are only focused on your egos and how much you want to say the left is evil or the right is evil or it's white supremacy or it's the transgenders, the LGBT, blah, 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 blah. Subscribe to the channel. I will see you all in the next one. Goodbye.